adventurers, storytellers. Welcome to this week's edition of the Worldbuilders Society with Ansel and Maui.
Welcome back, dear listeners, as we rejoin our stalwart world builders. They are still working their way through the layers of the human mind.
I like that there is a motivating threat that can, add a sense of urgency and stakes to things, rather than
that also helps you move them along the plot. Because the thing, right, let's talk about players for a second, right? One of the things the players will sit there and try and find the optimal decision instead of just making a decision, right? They'll mull it over and over and over. You're literally giving them a device that says, nope, you got to keep moving.
And not all players, of course, not all players. But
not all players.
But, there is... if things do not inherently have stakes at the moment, it is useful to have a device to raise those fucking stakes.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other NPCs you can think of? We have the doctor. We have the pursuer.
I mean, so I like that the set NPCs have a specific function rather than a general function. I mean, I'm not too worried about coming up with just populating the world on the fly, but I like that we've set these as okay, this is a functional element. And I guess I would say if we wanted to add a third NPC, it should probably have a similar sort of function within the world of what's going on.
Is there a person who represents the lesson? In the same way that when you see the Juggernaut, oh shit, the sunglasses, and in the same way there's a carrot as well, where you're like, oh, we see the person with the bow in their hair. She's always got good news, or
follow the white rabbit kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. The white rabbit, because the doctor doesn't know. The doctor is just there to,
he's just monitoring the situation.
He's monitoring the situation. And he can't really help. He's just there as a resource, and also to, I mean, fuck. I think the GM is the doctor. I can inform, but I can't tell you what you're going to find. I do like the white rabbit. I don't know what the white rabbit is.
Yeah. The doctor makes me think of Rufus from Bill and Ted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's there. He's he's sort of helpful. I know y'all have to do this thing. I can't actually do it for you. You have to do it yourself. I can lend a little bit of advice, and I can give you a device to help you move along.
I cannot for the life of me recall, but I feel like there's some piece of media where there's a librarian character, but the librarian is a simulation, and so yes, I can look things up, but I'm limited by I can't really cross-reference things. I can't come to my own conclusions. But if you have specific questions, I can assist you in that way.
I mean, there's actually, did you guys ever watch the iRobot movie?
Yeah.
I think I did.
There's the hologram of the doctor who he pre-recorded a bunch of stuff before he died. And so he can, if he's queried with specific prompts, he can give those responses.
I feel like that's the vibe. That's the function.
So it's not so much the doctor is an NPC. The doctor is a recording of the doctor that he sent with you.
Something like that. I mean, essentially, it's in some ways, it's the DM. It is the DM.
Yeah.
The doctor is there as a resource, but he's not gonna solve shit for you. And he's definitely
it's the
not gonna.
Hitchhiker's Guide.
He's definitely not going to save you from, the nervous system juggernaut. I do like the idea of a white rabbit. And maybe that's not a human NPC. I don't know. Maybe it's like a cat or some shit.
Oh yeah,
right. Something that's that way. It could be a cat. It could be something even as abstracted as a specific color. If you see that color, that color is representative of a thing, right? It could be a lot of different things. that the White Rabbit could represent.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a color is kind of fun, because there's a lot of ways that you can, like, weave that in and out.
Yeah, like if in your descriptions of things, if you're like, and you see a woman in a red skirt. Wait, did he say red? Did he say red in the last simulation?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go talk to that person, and they start to realize, oh, like color is important, or sound is
kind of
important.
thread running through things, or
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe maybe something like that.
Right. Just in that sense that, like, it's a one shot. We need them to move through it. We need to give them clear
If
pathways,
we
kind of
this
thing.
is the carrot, and the Juggernaut with the mirror shades is the stick. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, not just run away from this thing, but maybe run towards that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else in this lore and NPC section that we want to touch on? Or are we ready to talk about locations a little bit more intensely?
This feels like enough to jump off from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've definitely got a bit of prep time. Also, I should re-familiarize myself with the specific mechanics of Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the very least, like, this totally feels like enough to, like, jump off from, or to just improvise wildly from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well,
right,
pretend you were on a show that had 2 more hours of runtime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kidding.
Well, I was going to say, we can talk a little bit more
longer
about, like, the locations and, like, what of those, like, layers, like, which worlds would you want to, like, focus on a little bit more?
And how much prep can we take off your shoulders while we're here? Because I know you like to improvise, and I also like to improvise. But I wonder if we can build you some scaffolding.
Well, tell me this. Like, having done this a few times already, is there anything that you feel, this premise, this existing framework needs, that was perhaps useful, or, like, didn't realize how useful it was until the games themselves were actually being run? I mean, I don't mind working off of, like, some bones, and this is more than just bones. Like, there's meat on the bones.
Yeah. I think the thing that we have found that is the most useful is looking at the social constructs or societal constructs that are going to impact the way that our players interface with the world. Given that our players are kind of self-contained within their own foursome, it might be worthwhile to establish, like, what are the connecting threads betwixt them, or what are the conceits that they're going to exist within, what are the pressures that are going to impact them beyond the Doctor and the Juggernaut? If any.
Here's a couple of thoughts. Okay, so if each of the, let's say 4, or at least 3, if we only have the 3, but if we can get the 4, I feel like one of the things that the Doctor NPC can explain is that, like, okay, this is your psyche that we're in right now. So I think that helps to inform the person playing that character. Like, you are the type of person whose psyche is a rom-com. You are the kind of person whose psyche is a fantasy setting. And I feel like the play, I mean, at the very least, like, that's enough for, like, a given player to be like, oh, okay, this is how I essentially see the world. I mean, that's enough to, like, build some simple character traits off of. And I think we probably want to do, like, pre-generated characters, and in doing so, we can probably weight the various skills in ways that seem like maybe they would make sense for you seeing the world through rom-com lenses, or you seeing the world through, a horror movie outlook. In terms of so I thought about this for a minute. Okay, in terms of like structure, in terms of like world building that I would not mind having like taken off of my shoulders, if we essentially build this up like it is a mystery. I mean, not necessarily a murder mystery, but like a mystery setting. There is a thing to be uncovered. That would be very useful. And for like the mystery stuff that I've run previously, the big thing is like clues. You can never have too many clues because you may just have to like beat people over the head with them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be really helpful in terms of like structure, is ideas for like, okay, for the rom-com setting, these are the clues towards whatever it is they're supposed to figure out. And I'm okay if the thing that they're trying to figure out is maybe a bit abstract. The clues should all, what do I want to say? I feel like the clues feel like they want to be related to each other. All of the rom-com clues feel related. The horror clues feel related, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do they also have continuity throughout the different worlds as well? Like the truths are universal, but the ways that they present are themed.
I feel like okay, I feel like the conceit of like, oh, you're actually all just different aspects of the same person. I think that's like a fun reveal for the end. But I think if we try to orchestrate this entire thing so that not just, the clues within a given setting feel like they go together, but all of the clues for all of the settings, that feels,
That's too
I feel
much.
like we're
Okay.
I just feel like we're giving ourselves
because then
too
like
much
you're
homework.
pointing to the twist at the end too, right? You don't need to like, you don't need to hang a hat on a hat. You just need to say like, well, these are at the end you just have to say these are actually different parts of one person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it kind of speaks for itself, right? Like you are their grief and you are their, like I think you can, I don't think you need to go like as complicated as it would be in real life. I think you can simplify it to, different emotional things, kind of like what Inside Out did, right? Like you just
Mm-hmm.
need to say like these are the governing things.
Yes, the core memories. These are the the sense memories. And I think, I don't know. My instincts might be wrong in this, but I feel like in terms of okay, here are all of the clues for rom-com psyche. As long as they sort of like vaguely fit together, I feel like the players will probably like, make the remaining leap. It's kind of like if you design a room in a dungeon where there's like some sort of weird trap, and you don't, or like a weird puzzle, and like you, the GM, don't know what the solution is. It's just there to like confound people until they come up with something creative that feels like, okay, yeah, I buy that as a
That's
solution.
probably what they want.
Yeah, that's totally the
Mhm.
solution. Then I think.
And one of the inspiration things I put in there, Quantum Leap. In
Mhm.
Quantum Leap, the way that they were able to figure out things was like after like the initial conversation and figuring out, okay, who the hell am I?
Mhm.
Right, like
Because he always had to like fix something before he could move on. Yeah.
And you're like, oh well, it's with the information we have, there's a 96% chance that you have to do this thing. Then he gets more information. It's like, oh, okay, actually, it turns out you weren't supposed to save that person. You're supposed to arrest that person or something like that, right? Like you gain like levels of information as you interact more with the world, right? So depending on the thing, like in the rom-com thing, it's like, oh, it could be some trite like conceit of a rom-com, right? Like,
Mhm.
oh, that's your best friend and they're getting married, but like you clearly are in love with each other and you have to like go stop the wedding, or you know.
Or okay, off the top of my head for rom-com setting, a pipe wrench. There's something significant about the pipe wrench. Okay, that's weird. Why would it be the pipe wrench? Maybe you need the pipe wrench because the wedding ring, the engagement ring, like falls down the sink and is in the like, U-bend, and then you have to like open it up to get the ring out of there. I feel like, that kind of shit where, maybe some of the stuff can be, more specific, like pointing in a direction.
A little bit misty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
I do really like the suggestion of like, the quantum leap thing, there's something that has to be fixed here. We just need to like interact with the world until we kind of figure out what is the thing that needs to happen.
I don't think you have too many clues, right? It's like 3 clues and out.
Yeah, 3 clues.
Thing,
maybe, maybe like some like emergency super obvious clue, but I think the standard rule is like 3 clues, but maybe hit them over the head with it a little bit.
Yeah.
So
okay, so what's the rom-com scenario that we want to do? Do we want to do stop the wedding thing? Do we like if the rom-com is about grief, about losing somebody, what's the abstraction of that?
I mean, I like the idea of either stop the wedding or like the wedding must occur at all costs. Both of those feel very, very rom-com to me. I feel either way.
I like wedding. I'll say that.
I kind of like the stop the wedding thing. That feels very classic rom-com. Right? Like, I'm almost thinking kind of like My Best Friend's Wedding.
Yeah.
That's true.
Kind of
the wedding must happen at all costs feels a little bit more farcy.
Yeah.
Not that farce doesn't have rom-com, or rom-com doesn't have farce leanings, but
I like the direction of stop the wedding, because it feels like the world at large is trying to make the wedding happen, and you're just one person. That feels more rom-com-y than like the world is conspiring to make this wedding not happen, and you have to make it happen. Okay, I like that. I do feel like horror should be one of the settings.
Yes.
I like horror as one of the settings. I kind of like fantasy as one of the settings.
Yeah, like also there's some Bilbo Baggins shit.
Yeah. There's dragons. There's at least a dragon. And whatever the fantasy thing is, it involves a dragon.
Yes.
And maybe whatever the horror thing is, okay, the horror thing has to be in like a spooky house, a spooky big ol' house. Like maybe really nothing exists outside of like the big spooky house in the horror psyche.
Is there a Michael Myers? Is there a Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger?
Like
is the horror thing the last thing they do?
Is it a slasher? You know what? I'm going to argue against the horror being a slasher setting, because that's sort of the function that the Sunglasses Juggernaut has.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, if this is the last thing that they do, they could face the Juggernaut lastly.
Could be. I do like the idea of them being able to like swap around between the settings.
Oh, that's right. We're gonna have them pop
so but there's like also a lot of other like spooky shit that you can have. Maybe the horror,
so this is more like The Shining.
Yeah, maybe it's the house. Maybe it is the house itself is the scary
that
thing.
Could be the childhood trauma.
I like that. Yeah,
it's the house you grew up in.
Yeah.
In every room, there's like another horrible memory of childhood or something.
Yeah. The real monster was trauma all along.
And we said for fantasy, we just, so far all we've got is that we want there to be some
It's a dragon.
Dragons.
Some kind of dragon.
Do we think that the fantasy trauma is one big thing as opposed to the house horror being lots of little traumas?
I think the premise itself is like it. I think trauma is just baked into the premise. You know, this is a therapeutic exercise.
Oh yeah.
So I'm
just thinking like tonally.
I don't think we have to double down on it. I think, you know, what is the element that is present in fantasy that is not present in horror and rom-com? I think maybe that you know, we can play up the heroic tropes in that one. I do like the idea that, so for horror, we're kind of constrained to like, all right, it's a big spooky house. There's nothing beyond the house. For the rom-com, I mean, I think it can, you know, maybe be some sort of like idyllic town square with like a prominent chapel or something, but like that's the, you know, there's nothing beyond that. All of the little shops in the town square are all like, there's a flower shop and there's a tuxedo shop. Like it's just everything is, you know, pointing towards this. So for fantasy, I don't know. Castle feels too similar to like a big spooky house. I don't know what the thing is there. Maybe it's
forest, spooky forest.
I mean, it's not a spooky forest though. It's a magical.
Magical forest. Oh yeah, whimsical forest. Maybe that's what's missing from the others is whimsy.
I mean, there's still swords and shit. There's still opportunities to be like, you know, there's bravery and daring.
Yeah,
but I like But you're fighting forest. Like I like forest.
Like dryads and toadstools that came to life and shit.
Okay. Yeah. Forest. I like forest. Magical forest.
Do we have themes of temptation in fantasy? Are there like elves that are trying to lead you off the path, or
I think we could definitely put some,
you know, like the dragon's horde.
All right, hear me out. Fantasy, the fantasy setting, the forest with magical elves and shit in it. That is college. That's what that is.
Huh.
Those are your weird, wild, sometimes regretful college years.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah, that is like the dangers of excess or something. Maybe that's...
Oh, as an idea about the clues.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be hopping back and forth, are they finding the things that they need in the other worlds?
I think that we can be open to that. I don't know that we should specifically plan it out that way, but if the players are able to make connections like that, then maybe that is just a happy accident that happens. And I would absolutely, you know, support that.
Do we think maybe it's like we give them a bunch of junk in each place and there's a defined problem that is going to need to be solved in each location? Like the wedding ring is in the P-trap. There's a heart buried in the thing.
I really like that the goal of the rom-com is you have to stop the wedding. And I think that the fantasy setting and the horror setting needs something that is as like clear and direct of a goal as that is.
Well, if you have a dragon horde, I think it's getting the horde from the dragon to the people. Right? The people are poor because the dragon's taking all their shit.
Rather than horde, my only thought is if we give them a dragon's horde that you have to get, that's like, first you must murder a dragon, then you must figure out the logistics of getting the horde from point A to point B. If it's more like, I gotta go steal the Arkenstone just to completely crib off of the Hobbit.
Okay. That works. I mean, because that's still a trope. That still works.
And it's very defined. Yeah, still the one thing that's representative of the prosperity and wealth of the
It's a heist.
Kingdom. Yeah.
Okay.
And you still can go murder the dragon if that's what you want to do, but...
Yeah, but it's not your only option. And then, because you got a lot of options for ways to stop the wedding. And then for horror...
Escape?
What about get to the attic?
What's in the attic? I love it, but what's in the attic?
Something terrible is in the attic. I don't know what's in the attic.
Your mother's heart. Your mother's still beating heart.
I'm going to say like a photo album.
The woman that you're still married to. She's up there.
I'm going to say it could be like a photo album of like the good times you had. All you're doing is focusing on like the shitty parts of your childhood.
Yeah.
And you forget that like there's all these other parts of your childhood that you don't focus on.
Yeah, I don't know what's in the attic, but I think get to the attic is the action there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Get to the chopper.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel pretty good about this. Honestly, I feel like given that we have established like goals for each of the locations.
I think we've also figured out like your scenes are the rom-com, the fantasy, and the horror.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. And I think honestly, like the clues are probably just largely going to be props, just like I'm just, pick 3 props that feel like they would fit for this and fit for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about this. I mean, I don't know that Are We Still in the Simulation is,
No, I feel like it very much morphed from that.
It did. I'll noodle on that and try to come up with something that feels a little more like what we actually ended up with. I like where we ended up, using that as a jumping off point.
Yeah.
We went from Are We Still in the Simulation to like Journeys of Self-Discovery, which is very interesting.
Is there anything else broadly that we just want to cook on? Are there any things that my thought is, Adam, just because we are loading a gun right now.
Okay.
Who are the characters, and does it save us some work if we figure that out now?
I
do mean you.
I mean, I don't think I'll have a problem coming up with the characters. Again, I feel like I'm gonna like, in terms of like the characters, the psyche. Again, I feel like is the character. Like if you are given a character, here's your stats, and all you know about the character is that like you see the world as a romantic comedy. I feel like that's enough to be able to play with. That's enough to be able to like make decisions. That's enough to be like, okay, this is probably the kind of person that feels true for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question. I guess my last question then would be like, what's your strong start? What's your like entry into the world for the players?
I think that there is probably okay. Do we have I'm sure we've got a bunch of like unused settings. Let's see here.
Oh yeah, we got a ton of them.
Rom-com, Marvel movie, horror movie, nostalgia, noir, legal drama, western.
Okay, maybe it's a maybe it's just
I realized if we have a 4th player, we need a 4th place, right? Or for viewpoint.
If we need a 4th place, I would say
unless they know they're the doctor.
I like Doctor as NPC. You know what?
Yeah.
I think given that we have like those 3 sort of like pretty well established, let me noodle around and see if there's like a punchy 4th one. As far as like, the pull, the draw in, I think it starts in like a I don't know, like a medical drama, except, this is like, or not, maybe not a medical drama, more like a like a detective drama, or maybe it is, like a noir. Like there's just like this opening, like, I'm the doctor that is treating you. Here's the basic premise of what we're going to be doing and how shit works. Once we, leave this shady private eyes office with all of the diagonal shadows, we can't return to here. And we're, gonna try to help you out. We can only stay in here for so long before I don't know, your mind starts to break apart from having you inside of it or something. Yeah, I think maybe noir is the jumping off point, and then maybe science fiction. Maybe science fiction is the fourth one.
That makes sense.
I mean, yeah, I think everything you just said there, right, like could still work, right? Like it's just like the doctor is trying to figure out a plague or some sort of outbreak of some sort, and he's pulled these three people together. It's like, I need you to find me this thing. And they step through the thing, and all of a sudden they're in a fucking rom-com. They're like, what the fuck is going on? Maybe it's under the pretense that like reality is unraveling or something,
And I think, given that, at least for the rom-com, the fantasy, and the horror, since we've got like pretty specific settings for each one, the wedding town square, the magical forest, the spooky house, that sort of like immediately, I think, should help to set the tone for these places. I think I would probably also like start each of the players with like, okay, this is your part that we're in.
I like that.
Right now.
I like that a lot.
And that'll kind of help to
for the sci-fi one, my thought, if you do a sci-fi one, my thought is Star Trek as opposed to like Star Wars. Like I would go more
like
Star
hard
Trek,
sci-fi as opposed to
route.
science fantasy or
yeah,
to just give it more distinguishing characteristics from fantasy. This is the thing I love about Star Trek, right? Star Trek is philosophical conversation. Star Trek is like, here's a planet that's having this socioeconomic issue, and we need to try and help them figure out how to like de-escalate before they hurt each other, kind of thing. Like that's the thing I love about Star Trek. And it also then, once again, it's not about like punching, it's having conversations and trying to rationally figure out your way out of a situation.
Cool. Yeah, I feel good about this. I feel
good.
Yeah, I feel good about where this is all at.
Yeah,
cool.
That was very fun.
Yeah.
So, as we do a little quick cool down here, did you learn anything about your process doing this? Like, did this feel markedly different than your process doing it with two other DMs?
I mean, maybe not necessarily markedly different. I mean, maybe the only difference is that ideas that maybe I would have like dismissed or like, oh, I don't know, that seems hard. I don't know if that's necessarily gonna work. I feel like I was able to like process that stuff a lot faster. Or I mean, if it's just me walking down the street thinking about shit, it's easy enough to be like, I don't know, that's like a complicated premise now that I think about it. I don't know if that necessarily works. And then like just discarding it altogether. But if we've already dedicated like, an hour and 45 minutes to something, okay, well, we have to, we're sticking with this. This is the premise that we set up. So we need to make it work, or tweak it on some level until it actually solidifies. So
what do you think is the part of this that you're most excited to reveal to the players?
I don't know. This is different than things that I've run previously in some ways. I'm curious. I'm curious to see what bits the players fill in. Because I suspect that they will. I suspect this is like a robust and attention grabbing premise and framework, and I think most players naturally want to like string things together and find the connections, and so I'm just terribly curious and excited to see what everyone else brings to the table.
And we've got some players who make big swings on the docket for you, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think that the choice of going with a Call of Cthulhu makes good sense, because it's not going to be like big choices in terms of like, well, I'm going to run inside of that burning building kinds of choices, but definitely like, okay, I have some real thoughts about what this shit and this shit means now that we have both of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love that. This is such a cool idea. Like I love sci-fi concepts, and this is such a cool sci-fi concept. Yeah, I think it just kind of.
I really like that in terms of the inspirations, we were able to go much broader than just the Matrix, and I think a lot of the other influences have really helped to flesh this out so that it isn't just so that we're not just playing Matrix the one shot.
Right. If you look at the first 4 inspirations and then the next 5 after that, spin off wildly.
Yeah, from where we started to where we ended up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. I do think that Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Good Place, Quantum Leap, all of that. Yeah. Severance,
yeah, it's a
Psychonauts.
really cool hodgepodge. Yeah. I have to say, I think that this guy or this person, I don't know their gender, that they're all parts of, has to be a movie critic of some sort. He thinks he loves film, or he's like a screenwriter, or I feel like he's.
I mean,
he
a
has
huge
to be
nerd at the very least.
Yeah, a huge nerd.
Yeah.
He works at Blockbuster. I don't know.
Do you want to do the weird science fiction
Absolutely.
therapy? Yeah, I'll
Sign
do
me
that
up
one.
for that.
Sign me up for that.
Yeah.
Yep. You split my brain into 4 parts.
That sounds way easier than talking about my feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, or that agoraphobic who has never left a house, but all he does is watch movies, and so his mind is just like a Blockbuster video basically.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to run this.
Me too, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
You can't find Adam anywhere. He's not on any of the socials. So leave him the heck alone.
Correct.
Well, thank you so much, Adam, for joining us.
Run on.
And we will see you all next time.
Catch us next time when we build another world.
See us next week.
Outro music. The Worldbuilders Society is a co-production of Indecisionist Productions and Reflect Games. Find The Indecisionist on all of these social media platforms I can be bothered to be on, and check out some of my other amazing podcasts and TTRPG Pickup Con, a free monthly event going on at ttrpgpickupcon.com. Find Maui at Reflect Games, and check out the weekly live streams and incredible gaming content at Reflect Games on twitch.tv/reflectgames. Find out more about the Worldbuilders Society at indecisionist.com/worldbuilders.